What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Andy, the Destroyer Ruiz, and Chris, the Nightmare Arreola. The event that these guys are staged in will be by TGB Promotions. Tickets go on sale Friday, March 26th at 10 a.m. PT and can be purchased at axs.com. Digital Health Sports Park will be open to fans in a limited capacity, with all guests remaining socially distanced and subject to local and state health guidelines throughout the event. The Fox Sports PBC pay-per-view is priced at $49.95. This pay-per-view card is one of the best all-action lineups that I can remember, and is loaded with fighters who know nothing but delivering toe-to-toe combat. Heading the card is the only heavyweight champion of Mexican descent, Andy Ruiz Jr., taking on Chris Arreola, the first serious Mexican-American heavyweight contender, said Tom Brown, president of TGB Promotions. Andy Ruiz Jr. shocked the sports world when he destroyed Anthony Joshua to win the heavyweight titles at Madison Square Garden. No upset in recent years have been nearly as big as the story of Ruiz stunning Joshua, and no boxer of Mexican descent has weighed more than 175 pounds and had ever won a championship before him. Ruiz has rededicated himself with his focus of regaining the heavyweight crown, and Arreola is determined to make one more run for the title. Now, let me counterpunch. First of all, I want to give a special thanks to whoever decided to chop this shit in half. Okay? $49.95 to a fight of this magnitude is a lot better than $75 to $100. Okay, because every time you think pay-per-view, the standard is $75.95 or $99.95. Only someone, you do have the option of $89.95 if it was that, because of standard definition, but no one does that anymore. We always use HD, right? So it's going to be $100. So when you first heard about a pay-per-view event, you're thinking, who the hell is going to pay $100 to see a tune-up fight between Andy Ruiz and Chris Arreola? Andy Ruiz has admitted himself that Chris Arreola is not even in his prime no more. Yeah, he was the guy that was fighting Vitali Klitschko and getting beat and crying like hell afterwards when he lost because he was so devastated. It happens. But that was a very, very, very long time ago. Okay? So, I think that these guys, and Al Heyman, I think that he thought about the amount and said, you know what? The Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr. did well at a smaller rate. Okay? And I think at some point, if it was Al Heyman, if it was Tom Brown, if it was whoever, I'm glad someone got the point. You know what they thought of, honestly? Yes, besides the Mike Tyson, Roy Jones Jr. fight, they thought of the UK. Okay? They don't fucking drench and squeeze blood out of turnips like we do over here. They don't just milk you for every dime and dollar you're worth over there. That's why when Joshua fought Ruiz in the rematch, they went up and everybody went ballistic. I'm like, yo, what's your problem? But the problem is they're not accustomed to getting fucked. Okay? Over prices and out of money that that it should be a lot cheaper. Like we are over here in the US of A. Mr. Capitalism, 100%. And they're capitalizing on the American dollar. So if you want to see this fight, you're gonna pay top dollar. Right? Maypac. Look, either way you look at it, it is what it is. Now, why do you think Eddie Hearn came over with the idea of DAZN? Because people were getting fucked over by looking at pay-per-views you're only going to watch twice in your life anyway. And then if you were smart, you would wait for the week after and watch it for free on Showtime or HBO. That's if you had Showtime or HBO. Okay? So it was one of those difficult things. People were just being greedy. But I still think, though, me counterpunching the whole idea, I still think that they're being greedy. I think they're being stingy. I think they don't want to fork up the amount of money for these guys. So you know what they do? They leave it up to the public to pay for the shit. That's why they have it at a fixed or a discounted rate. Okay? So that's why they're doing that. For $49.95, yeah, I'll pay for that. You know what I mean? But $75, I wouldn't pay for that shit. No. It would be hard for me to come out of my pocket for $75 for a fight that I know damn well is a tune-up. Okay? Now, if this was Dillian White, Ruiz, that's a different story. If this was Dillian White, if this was Ruiz, Deontay Wilder, that's a totally different story. I'd pay $100 for that. Why? You got two former champs, one unified, one WBC, and they're getting it on to see where they are in the sport. Yes, I would love to see that fight, but against Chris Arreola, hell to the no. Not for a guy that fought for a title 12, 13 years ago and lost. That means he was in his prime a long time ago, and then what he did with the rest of it wasn't really impressive. Let's be real. Okay? Let's check out Chris Arreola for a minute. Let's see. Chris Arreola. All right. He's 40 years old now, people. Mind you that. All right? And his boxing record, let's see. He got beat to Adam Kalnaki, Deontay Wilder, Bermain Stavern. Let's see. Okay. His first loss came to Vitalik Klitschko in 2009. You guys know how fucking long ago that was. Okay? That was 12 years ago. That's when he was in his prime back then. But again, he got beat by Adamek. He got beat by Bermain Stavern twice. Okay? He beat Seth Mitchell. That was pretty impressive. But Seth Mitchell, he got, exposed at some point. Got beat by Wilder, got beat by Adam Kalnaki. He doesn't have a piss poor record. I'm not trying to shit on Chris Arreola. What I'm saying is, what warrants us to pay this shit for pay-per-view? That's what I'm asking. That's the question. Yeah, I'll pay for it, but why? Okay? Why should we pay for that? That should be on Fox, or it should be on regular Showtime. Championship boxing. That's what it should be on. The return of Andy Ruiz, championship boxing. Okay? If Deontay Wilder can fight Dominic Breazeale, okay, so on regular television, so can Andy Ruiz. Because Andy Ruiz hasn't proven anything to be on pay-per-view since the last time he was on pay-per-view. When he came in 300 pounds. Come on, man. Make that make sense. Okay? But anyway, at the least, I will say this before I close. At least it was $49.99. It was $50, which we won't get royally screwed. We'll just get normally screwed. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Andy Ruiz taking on Chris Arreola for a discounted rate on pay-per-view for $49.95. Of course, please subscribe, bars. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.